David Shah! David Shah! David Shah! David Shah! David Shah! David Shah!
Useimmille suomalaisille Iran on yksi sotivista muslimimaista siellä kaukana Lähi-idässä. Perjantaina 9. tammikuuta Helsingissä 3 Sepän patsaan juurella osoitti mieltään tunteikas joukko iranilaisia huutaen ja laulaen Reza Pahlaviin paluuta Iranin johtoon. Yksi heistä on Shabnam Nikbakhsh. Hän on yksi miljoonista Iranista, islamin regiimiä paineista ihmisistä.
I physics in the university and I got my bachelor. But at the same time, the last few years that when I was in Iran, I was participating in demonstrations against the Islamic regime. We have had those kind of uprisings several times, and that time we weren't also successful. So I decided to move out to pursue my education here in Finland. So I got admission from Helsinki University, and I study space sciences. After that, I just started working in Finland. But again, about 4 years ago, when Mahsa Amini, the Iranian girl, got murdered by the Islamic regime, I started my activism again here in Finland. I just realized that this nightmare is never gonna end until we finish it. I have been active, try to be the voice for my people and tell the truth, what is really happening in Iran, because you can see it from leftist media that the narrative of our revolution quite often has been twisted to something that doesn't exist, and that's not what Iranian people want the world to know about us.
Kansainvälisessä mediassa, ja siksi ehkä Suomenkin valtamediassa, vuonna 1979 syrjäytettyyn Shaahin poikaan Reza Pahlaviin suhtaudutaan penseästi. Shabnamin mielestä media valehtelee Iranin todellisesta tilanteesta. Hän on jopa niin pettynyt mediaan, että kielsi twiitissään Yleisradiota tulemaan paikalle. Shabnam sanoo median yleensä kääntävän tarinan iranilaisista maahanmuuttokysymykseksi.
Yeah, many Iranians basically they don't want any Ule reporters to come to our demonstration. It has happened before several times. When they came to our demonstration, they took a pictures or took a video of what we were saying against the Islamic regime, and it was clear that we are against the Islamic regime and we want that the whole regime is gone and people are free. But then they use those kind of images or videos for other articles, and I believe that was they are journalists. They know what they are doing. We were not professional activists or anything like that. We were just normal students here. So they use those videos and publish it and pictures, publish it for another article when it was about immigration.
Jo vuosia Iranin kansannousut on kuvattu mediassa mellakoina elintason laskusta. Sekin on totta, mutta pääsyystä ei puhuta. Se on, että valtaosa iranilaisista ei ole muslimeja, eivätkä he halua elää islamilaisessa teokratiassa. Vasta nyt, kun hallinto surmaa mielenosoittajia tuhansittain ja uhkaa teloittaa heitä, länsimaiden lehdistö alkaa hiljakseen puhua hieman enemmän totta, kun sitä X:ssä leviävien kuvien ja viestien mukaan ei voi enää välttää.
So I just stopped trusting them completely because other friend of mine who is also an activist, he told me they had a demonstration clearly against the Islamic regime. Later their demonstrations narrative were twisted that they are here to oppose Iraqi refugees.
Sama koskee BBC:tä.
BBC is the most hated media in Iran. We call it Ayatollah BBC actually in Iran. There are like these kind of logos of BBC with the turban this is how we call it. BBC has made so many propaganda against our Shah and twisting the narrative of people's demonstration against the Islamic regime. Every time we have risen against the government, they twisted that only female or only Iranian women wants few changes, which is not true. Iranian men and women are united against the Islamic regime, and they have shown it in 2019, 2022, and now they are showing that. You see, in demonstration, it's not just women go to the street or just feminists or ask for the reform. The slogans are clear. We want to get rid of the Islamic regime. We want our Shah to come back, because that is how we can save our country. That is how we can make Middle East safe and stable again, right? Just similar as it was before 1979. Of course, there were these kind of Islamic or Islamist group. They were terrorizing also people inside Iran, but they were under control.
X:ssä leviää kuvia Iranissa palavista moskeijoista.
So Iran's in big trouble. It looks to me that the people are taking over certain cities that nobody thought were really possible just a few weeks ago. We're watching the situation very carefully. I've made the statement very strongly that if they start killing people like they have in the past, we will get involved. We'll be hitting them very hard where it hurts.
Trump vaikuttaa olevan tosissaan. Venezuelan diktaattori Maduron poiston jälkeen katse kohdistuu Iraniin. Reza Pahlavi ohjaa kansaa kohti vallankumousta.
Mr. President, you have already established your legacy as a man committed to peace and fighting evil forces. There is a reason why people in Iran are renaming streets after your name. They know that you are totally opposite to Barack Obama or Joe Biden. They know that you're not going to throw them under the bus as they have had before. This is why they believe that this time they are empowered by the hope that you have their back. Your words of solidarity with the Iranian people and your administration has had tremendous positive effect. Let's hope that we can permanently seal this legacy by liberating Iran so that we and you can make Iran great again.
Mistä pahoista voimista Reza Pahlavi puhuu? Iranista levitetään monenlaista tarinaa. Yksi on, että mielenosoittajien haluama Shaahin paluu on Israelin Mossadin ja USA:n CIA:n uusi juoni. Iranin regiimi väittää mielenosoituksia pieneksi kapinaksi. Läntinen media laimentaa kaikkia tarinoita. Iranin tilanteen todellisuudesta voivat kertoa vain iranilaiset itse, ja islamistinen hallinto yrittää estää tositarinan kertomista katkaisemalla maasta internetin. Totuus on kuitenkin aina monimutkainen. Tietenkin Iranissa on monta ääntä, mutta äänekkään on halu palauttaa Iranin oma identiteetti ja rauha. Tähän iranilaisten enemmistö vaikuttaa näkevän parhaimmaksi ratkaisuksi Shaahin paluun maan johtoon. Talk about this Reza Pahlavi and why do you prefer, or why do you want to have a monarchy?
Sure. Iran has a history of 2,500 years of monarchy. This is part of our culture. It has been part of our literature and whatever represent as Iranian identity. The concept of the Shah or the king is more than just a ruler. For us, it's a unifying factor. As I said, it's part of our culture, which has been taken from us 47 years ago. And Iranian people inside the country, especially young ones, are chanting for our Shah or King Reza Pahlavi to come back, because they know he can really help us to rebuild our country, to unify people, to start a normal, civilized collaboration with other countries. For example, how Finland is dealing with US. Just the same. We want to have the same. It's not something strange that we are asking, and we know that he can do it because this family has a reputation, has a really good history of rebuilding Iran. Not just our current Shah, his grandfather also.
Shabnam ja monet muut iranilaiset epäilevät vahvasti lännen vasemmiston ja Iranin islamilaisen hallinnon pelaavan samaa peliä, joka alkoi jo 1979 vallankumouksesta ja oikeastaan jo sitä ennen, ja joka jatkuu edelleen.
This is something the Shah of Iran called it actually very well, the unholy alliance between black and red. Black as for Islamists and red for communists. They have got a lot in common if you think about that. People always look at the situation as, one believes in God, the other one doesn't believe in God. No, it's not just about that. They are perfect allies. They have been allies for more than 50 years, as the Shah of Iran said. He said it in an interview, but nobody listened to that. Now we can see it all around Europe, how these Islamists and leftists are supporting each other, how leftists are legitimizing the action of Islamists. For example, we can see that there's no news from Iran in any leftist media, which are basically major medias in Europe. They don't say anything about what is happening in Iran. 20 million, 30 million Iranians came to the street last night. Where is the major media? They came and clearly chanted against the Islamic regime. Why nobody says anything?
Historia kuvaa vuoden 1979 vallankumouksen kansannousuksi diktaattori Shaahia vastaan.
It has become more difficult to look at the scope of opposition to the Shah of Iran and still see his monarchy surviving. The Ayatollahs are committed to the ouster of the Shah and nothing less than that. They chant Magba Shah, death to the Shah.
Shabnam tarjoaa toisenlaisen todellisuuden vallankumouksen tekijöistä.
They were Islamist leftists. They were all have the terrorist training that they got it usually from Lebanon, Syria, or Palestine. They had a close collaboration with terrorist groups, like they called them freedom fighters, but they were actually terrorist Palestinian groups training these Islamist leftists. It has been documented very well.
Se on totta, mutta dokumentit ovat unohtuneet useimpien valtamediaa seuraavien länsimaisten muistista. 1979 vallankumouksessa islamilainen vasemmisto tuki teokratiaa, mutta joutui nopeasti islamilaisen regiimin jalkoihin. Vasemmiston viestiin kuului kertomus Shaahista lännen imperialismin työkaluna. Mustapunainen allianssi vei Iranin sosialistiseen vallankumoukseen, joka muuttui nopeasti islamilaiseksi teokratiaksi siveyspoliiseineen. Tässä kuuluisassa kuvassa näkyville vasemmistotytöille kävi myös hyvin huonosti. Sosialistit hakivat demokratiaa. He olivat kuninkaita vastaan. Sama laulu kuuluu edelleen Yhdysvalloissa. Tässä vasemmistoliberaalit käyvät iranilaisten mielenosoitusta vastaan. He huutavat rakastamansa Hamasia. Shabnamia tämä asetelma tietenkin kauhistuttaa. Islamilainen hallinto on kaukana siitä, mitä Iranissa halutaan.
I encourage people, of course they can do whatever they want, but I encourage them do not label Iranian as Islamophobic, because we have lived under the occupation of Islamic regime for more than 47 years. Our fear of Islam is real, it's not phobia. So we don't have Islamophobia, it's Islamotrauma. I'm carrying so much trauma. I'm sometimes seeing nightmares. I have no control on them. I see nightmares when the morality police is chasing me because I don't have proper Islamic hijab.
Yesterday's demonstration was the nearest thing to an anti-Khomeini rally yet. The imposition of Islamic law here has started with an order to women to cover their heads in government offices. Many are furious. Only a minority in Tehran already follow the instruction. But the issue has provided an escape valve for many of the men here who for days have been spoiling for trouble. Led by a few Islamic zealots, several hundred men eventually attacked the protesters. Several of the women who stood their ground with considerable courage were stabbed as they chanted slogans for equal rights. Most of these men can be relied upon to have a gun at home, and if they can't persuade the women and other sectors who oppose extremist Islamic beliefs, then the danger is that they will bring their weapons out onto the street and that there will be bloodshed again. Moments later, guns actually did appear. order was eventually restored by a mullah who expressed no sympathy for the women's position. Ayatollah Khomeini is determined to see an Islamic state at all cost. Resistance to it is already growing. With no impartial policing, the split in the revolution is already open and threatens to become wider and more dangerous.
This is real trauma. This is not phobia. I have been really chased by morality Islamic police. So I really recommend to people to think about when they are using the word Islamophobia, who are you talking to? You are talking to people who have been suffering all of their life because of living under the Islamic regime. That's not phobia, that's real fear.
Yes, well, it seems that now here you have a leftist morality police.
Yes, we have the leftist morality police that it's quite interesting because I'm female. I'm a religious minority here in Finland because I believe in Zoroastrianism, which is the oldest religion, older religion than Islam in Iran, and it's the true religion of Iran.
Iranin shaahia syytetään yleisesti kidutuksista ja murhista. Syytökset antoivat polttoainetta silloisille vasemmistolaisille Suomessakin.
Tässä julkilausumassa on motto: osoittakaamme solidaarisuutemme Persian kansalle antamalla Shaahille hänelle sopiva vastaanotto. Miksi me juhlisimme Persian sortajaa? Mikä on mielestäsi hänelle sopiva vastaanotto? Mitä tällä tarkoitetaan?
Niin mielestäni hänen ei olisi pitänyt tulla Suomeen lainkaan. Protokollan mukaan väitetään ei voinut kieltäytyä tästä vierailusta, mutta meidän mielestämme ulkoministeri ja presidentti olisi voinut käytännössä poliittisista syistä olla vastaanottamatta häntä.
Kysymys siitä, kuka on Iranissa hyvis ja pahis, vaihtaako siellä hallintoa CIA, Mossad, kommunistit vai islamistit, on aiheuttanut mielenosoituksia, riitaa ja ihmettelyä lännessä ja vuosikymmeniä.
For 4 years I have asked Finnish lefties every time they say that. I said that give me one name of those so-called political prisoners that he has been tortured by the secret police of Iran, SAVAK, similar to SUPO or similar to CIA, for example. This police force was a counter-terrorism organization. What's wrong with that? Why US can have counter-terrorism organization, but Iran couldn't have had?
Tässä Shabnamin historian luento hieman kaunistelee totuutta. Shaahin salainen poliisi SAVAK todella syyllistyi kidutuksiin ja vangitsemisiin. Toisaalta tarkoitus oli hillitä maassa jo 50-luvulta vaikuttanutta vasemmiston ja islamin nousua. CIA ja myöhemmin Mossad auttoi Shaahin salaisen poliisin toimintaa. Kylmän sodan aikainen toiminta nousevan kommunismin hillitsemiseksi teki SAVAKista lännen sosialistien silmissä hirmuvallan poliisikoneiston. Hirveä se tietenkin oli heille, jotka Shaahin Iranissa sen kohteeksi joutuivat. SAVAKin toiminta kääntyi siten itseään vastaan ja nosti osaltaan vasemmiston voimat sen punamustan yhteistyön iranilaisten suosioon. Ainakin tarpeeksi suuren osan suosioon, että vallankumous mahdollistui. Toisen maailmansodan jälkeen Iran on ollut idän ja lännen välisen kylmän sodan pelikenttä niin kuin moni muukin maa ja monenlaisen ulkopuolelta masinoidun propagandakampanjan kohde. Vuosikymmeniä kestänyt sotku on niin suuri, ettei siis ole ihme, että tavallinen suomalainen ei tunnu välittävän iranilaisten mielenosoituksesta 3 sepän patsaalla.
No, luuletko, että suomalaisen median antama kuva siitä on oikea?
No, ainakin se on aika hidasta ollut, että nythän sitten väitetään, että se johtuu siitä, että tätä kieltä ei osata ja sitten se on osittain tämmöinen suljettu yhteiskunta siitä syystä.
Entä sitten islam?
Mitä?
Entä islam?
No siis mulla on tämmöinen käsitys, että nämä vastustaa, mitä mä nyt sanoisin, ehkä uskontoja yleensä vähän ja vielä enemmän islamia ja vielä enemmän sitten tätä islamia, mitä täällä nyt on, eli tällainen äärifundamentalistinen hallinto, sitä erityisesti.
Reza Pahlavi on nyt ottanut johtajan roolin ja kehottaa iranilaisia taistelemaan islamistista hallintoa vastaan kaduilla.
رژیم سعی داره با سرکوب شدید و کشتار و قطع ارتباطات در شما ایجاد رعب و ترس بکنه و مایوس از ادامه این حرکت و مبارزه.
Regiimi käy omaa infosotaa levittäen tarinaa ja kuvia islamistisen hallinnon puolesta mielenosoittavista.
What I want to see for Iran, of course, is that first of all, the economy changes, which would happen really quickly because our Shah or the King Reza Pahlavi has a really good, precise plan for first 100 days after the fall of the Islamic regime.
Thank you.
Reza Pahlavilla on suunnitelma nimeltään Iran Prosperity Project. Suunnitelma julkaistiin kesäkuussa 2025. Sitä on luotu tuhansien eri ryhmien edustavien iranilaisten toimesta.
Distinguished guests, dear compatriots. It is a great pleasure to welcome you today to the unveiling of the Iran Prosperity Project.
Suunnitelman mukaan Pahlavi ottaisi vallan maan johdossa, kunnes maan tilanne ja talous saadaan vakaaksi. Suunnitelmaan kuuluu kansanäänestyksen järjestäminen, uudesta valtionmuodosta Iraniin sekä suhteiden palauttaminen muihin vapaisiin maihin, kuten nyt Venezuelaan, joka on juuri päässyt irti Madurosta Yhdysvaltojen pikaisella, mutta lujalla avustuksella.
How to control the military, how to control the chaos, how to control the situation so the chaos be as minimum as possible. How to do the transition in a way that people still can continue the normal life, ordinary life, So it's not just, overthrow the regime and no plan. There is a plan, and he's going to execute that plan. Of course, not everything like that becomes perfect. We know that.
Useille iranilaisille Suomessakin mielensä osoittaminen voi olla riski, sillä Iranin regiimillä on lonkeronsa joka puolella maailmaa, kertoo Shabnam.
Tried to ask from one person who she was from Iran and lived in Finland for interview, but she refused. It seemed that she was afraid of Islam or this regime. Is it really so that some people are afraid who live in Finland?
Yeah, because they have a family member or I don't know, they still might travel to Iran, so they're really scared that if they have an interview with you, for example, somebody finds out their name, especially because we have the Islamic regime. Embassy here, they are surveilling us. I'm almost like 100% sure, almost 100% sure that they were in our demonstration, recording videos and later reporting that to the embassy. So I just had the comment on my Instagram that one of these Islamic regime agents called me, you're a Mossad agent and you're under surveillance, for example, and these kind of messages that we are always getting. And we know that it's true, they are really checking what we are doing.
Lontoossa iranilainen mies vaihtoi lipun Iranin suurlähetystössä. Iranin tilanne säteilee näin voimakkaasti ulkomaihin. Ja Iranin sekava tilanne on myös ulkovaltojen, etenkin kylmän sodan, luomus. Mielenosoituksessa näkyy Israelin lippu. Useimmille suomalaisille se saattaa olla yllättävää. Tässäkin todellisuus on muuta kuin mitä media kertoo.
Yeah, well, through history, Iranian and Jewish people have a really beautiful connection. Actually, it was Cyrus the Great, the Shah of Iran or the King of Iran 2,500 years ago, who actually saved Jewish people and led them to practice their religion. He never forced them or asked them to convert to our religion, which is actually Zoroastrianism, because this is against our belief to convert or force people to convert to our religion. So, and to be honest, last 3 years, no nation, no Western nation ever stood by us Iranian. It has been only Israeli people that either from inside Israel or Jewish people outside the country has always came to our demonstrations. They were actually several of them today in the demonstration. So when Finnish people ask that why do you have the Israeli flag, I simply answer that they are supporting us and we don't want to fight or be enemy of each other as the Islamic regime has done it for 46 years. We used to be friends.
Globaaliin peliin kuuluukin, että mikään valtio ei oikeastaan ole sama kuin sen kansa, vaikka media niin tahtookin asiat yksinkertaistaa. Eikä mikään kansa, edes sen poliitikot, pääse toimimaan ilman ulkopuolista vaikutusta. Näin vihjaili jo Iranin Shaahi vuonna 1976.
On the Middle East, the Shah is committed to a secure state of Israel, and he believes the Jewish lobby in the United States helps breed Israeli intransigence on that matter. In fact, he says American presidents and presidential candidates are too quick to do the bidding of the Jewish lobby.
Surely, Your Majesty, you're not telling me that the Jewish lobby in the United States pulls the strings of the presidency?
Not entirely, but I think even a little too much, even for Israel interests.
You think the Jewish lobby in the United States is too powerful for the interests of Israel?
I think so. Sometimes they are disserving the interests of Israel because they're pushing around too many people.
How do you mean pushing around?
Well, pressuring. They have many means at their disposal. They are putting up pressure on many, many people. And at the end, I don't think that it will even help Israel.
Why, if this is true, why would the President of the United States pay attention to that lobby?
They are strong.
Strong in what sense?
They are controlling many things.
Controlling what?
Newspapers, medias,
Your Majesty.
Banks, finances, and I'm going to stop there.
Well, now wait just a second. You really do believe that the Jewish community in the United States is that powerful? They make the media reflect their view of foreign policy?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They do not report, we do not report honestly?
Don't mix things, please. I don't say the media. I say in the media they have people. Not the entire media. Some newspapers will only reflect their views, yes.
No?
That Islamic regime that wants to destroy Israel, that's 100% true, but not Iranian people. There are Iranian people from really small town that's sending message to Israeli government and saying that, okay, we are not your enemy, we want peace, we can be friends, and it's the other way around as well. So Israeli people are sending messages to me, to Iranian inside the country, and say that, hey, and it's quite funny that how much people are getting angry to see how Iranians and Israeli people are friends. They get really angry. They call themselves freedom fighter. They call themselves, oh, we like really peace. But when they see the peace between people, they don't want to fight. They don't want to be enemy. They get really angry. They are like, no, you need to be enemy of Israel. I'm like, you want to criticize the Israeli government as a Finnish person? Just do it. But don't tell us, no, you need to be enemy with Israeli people. They haven't done anything to us. They have been always kind to us, and they are the only nation has ever stood by us.
Shabnam luottaa lujasti siihen, että Reza Pahlavin ohjastama vallansiirto Iranissa oli se vallansiirto kansalaisille. Useiden suomalaistenkin poliitikkojen epäilystä huolimatta. Nyt Reza Pahlavi antaa ohjeita vallankumoukseen iranilaisille X:n kautta. Hän kehottaa poliiseja ja viranomaisia vaihtamaan kansan puolelle. Islamin hallinnon puolelle jääviä odottaa hänen mukaansa kansan oikeutettu rangaistus. Shabnam näkee myös vasemmiston ja islamin epäpyhän allianssin suurena uhkana koko maailmalle. Jopa rauhalliselle ja onnelliselle Suomelle.
Finnish people, but they should care about their own country, what is happening here. Islamic regime has infiltrated to Sweden, Finland, Denmark, everywhere. They have oil money that they don't spend it on Iranian people, but they spend it on spreading terrorism. And here in Finland, and I have got this kind of like messages in different social media platforms that, yeah, if you go back to your country, we will not have any problem. Seriously, do you really think that I'm the problem? If I go back to my country, you're not even hearing what the Islamic regime is doing in your country. It's not about Iranians, it's about the Islamic regime. So even when we go back, there's going to be like some Islamic regime like agents that they're going to come out of Iran and they're going to come to Europe or other countries, and they have a lot of money and they have already started influencing Finland and the other countries. They're going to continue that. So just track them down and fight against them. I mean, when I'm saying fight against them, I mean peacefully fight against them, like criticize the government if they are having any collaboration with them.
Vasemmistolainen asenne kulkee islamin kanssa. Kritisointi käy vaikeaksi, media ei kerro asioista totuutta. Tämä johtaa siihen, että suomalaiset eivät ymmärrä, mitä tapahtuu. Poliisikuulustelut sähköposteista ovat useimmille suomalaisille aika vieras asia, mutta sellaista tapahtuu, kun kyse on islamin kritisoinnista.
We are just saying to the people that, hey, support us so we can go back to Iran, rebuild our own country, and possibly even stop the more immigration from Middle East to Europe.
How surprised are you that in this democratic West media started to behave like this?
Since 4 years ago when I started demonstration, I realized that this democracy that quite many people are talking about, that it's certainly an illusion. It's not real. It's not real. I have been interrogated by Finnish police, me and more than 40 Iranian people, for writing.
For what?
We wrote one single email, very peaceful, no violent language, carefully crafted, so there is no false accusation, there is no violent, and there is no. It was like super peaceful to one university in Finland, and we asked that they do not invite a certain person who is a public figure, but has a connection with the Islamic regime. So we ask that university doesn't invite this person. We think that it's wrong.
Euroopassa ja Suomessa ei haluta tunnistaa islamin ongelman laajuutta, sanoo Shabnam. Vasemmistopolitiikka ei tunnista islamin uhkaa, joka pahenee hallitsemattoman maahanmuuton myötä. Vain Trump puhuu todella Iranin islamistisen teokratian kaatamisesta. Se olisi Euroopallekin hyväksi, mutta kun sitä puhuu median äärioikeistolaiseksi julistama Trump, ei tukea kuulu.
But my question is that why those Finnish leftists never demonstrated that strongly when they realized that Khomeini, who came after our Shah to power, he executed more than 40,000 people, including children, inside the prison. They raped so many children inside the prison. Why they never organize those kind of demonstrations? Why they never come to our demonstrations and mass demonstrating against the Islamic regime right now?
Avoimuus ja tosiasioiden tunnustaminen olisi Shabnamin mielestä hyvä alku.
I always say that we should be able to criticize, for example, Islam. We should be able to criticize leftists. This is freedom of speech. And if anybody thinks that this is extremism, then they need to really re-evaluate their terminology.
Islamistien ja maahanmuuttajien terroria on näkynyt Euroopan kadulla jo vuosia, mutta ei juurikaan mediassa. Etenkin Britanniassa islamofobia on leimasana, joka tukahduttaa kaiken kritiikin. Kenties Shabnam ja muut iranilaiset ymmärtävät jotain islamin ja vasemmiston epäpyhästä liitosta, jota sinisilmäisten suomalaistenkin olisi hyvä ymmärtää.
When I see what is happening in Finland, scares me a lot. I feel that 1979 is happening also in Europe, when majority of people don't even know what is happening, but there's a loud minority who's pushing the ideology of leftism, and whoever talks will be labeled as extremist, a fascist, or whatever. So you're not basically allowed to talk. You might lose your job. You might lose your, you might be in the court, pay fines just because you criticize someone. I mean, you haven't used any violent word or anything, but you can be interrogated by the Finnish police. So I really think that 1979 Islamic revolution is happening also in Europe. I can see the similarity. Of course, everything is not exactly the same, but I can see the similarities, and that freaks me out a lot. I know now clearly why 1979 happened in Iran, because there were this minority who was pushing for very violent ideology, and majority of the people stay quiet. Because it's many people have told me that, oh, you don't know, the revolution happened in Iran because people were against the Shah. No, people were not against the Shah. The minority was against the Shah, and that minority took over the power, and they had guns and tanks, and they got control of the army and everything. And the rest, to be honest, they just scared and stay home and did nothing.
Tähän mennessä perussuomalaiselle, ei siis perussuomalaiselle, on kenties tullut yllätyksenä, että iranilaiset eivät vihaakaan juutalaisia ja amerikkalaisia. Entä sitten Venäjää?
Yeah, basically Islamic regime is the proxy or the agent of Russia. Many people, when they see this cleric, for example, or like Khamenei ruling Iran, they think that, oh, they are Islamic and they have nothing to do with Russia. Islamic regime of Iran is not just Islamic, it's actually Islamist leftist. So it's totally different from just purely Islamic. And they have strong ties with Russia.
Неспровоцированная абсолютно агрессия против Ирана не имеет под собой никаких оснований и никаких оправданий.
Venäjän suhde Iraniin on pragmaattinen. Droneja, öljyä, paikallista vaikutusta, mutta Iran ei ole niin tarpeen, että sen suhteen ryhtyisi taistelemaan.
У нас с Ираном давние, добрые, надежные отношения.
The Pahlavi dynasty was a very glorious time because we finally could manage to retrieve much of our Iranian identity, which has been always, like it has been imposed to us that we need to be Islamic, we need to have Islamic names and everything. But all those things change in Pahlavi era. Of course, Iranian people really love it, and now they try to go back to that time. We want to retrieve our Iranian identity because 70% of us are not, at least 70%, the number could be easily larger, 70% of us are not Muslim. So we don't want to practice Islamic rules, we don't want to have Islamic names or tradition, we want to have our own Iranian identity. I think it should be really easy for Finnish people to understand, as Finland was under occupation of Russia about 108 years. And they were pushing you towards what to be like Russian instead of being having your own Finnish identity.
Mitä Shabnam toivoo maansa tulevaisuudesta? Millainen Iran voisi olla ilman vasemmiston, islamin, Mossadin, Venäjän, CIAn ja läntisen median toimia ja valehtelua?
So I'm quite hopeful that this time is the time we can finally overthrow this Islamic regime and bring back our Shah to home so we can all go back home. I can tell you also this, I hope that Finnish people know, Finnish media has tried so hard, the major media try so hard to twist our request or our revolution and say that, yeah, more refugees are coming from Iran, there's going to be a civil war. There's not going to be a civil war. There's going to be the opposite. We are actually literally planning to go back to our home. And as I said, we love Finland, we appreciate the opportunity and everything, but we want to really go back home.
Kansannousuja ja vallankumouksia ei nyt kaikkialla maailmassa. Kyse on globalismista, joka käyttää polttoaineena muun muassa islamia ja sen vastaparina hyvän tahtoista vasemmistolaista tietämättömyyttä. Halu olla oma itsensä, oma kansansa on ääriajattelua.
It's a full-scale revolution against the regime. It's not just about female or male or certain group of people. No, it's about everybody. We are also fighting for our animals, our nature. None of them is safe as long as the Islamic regime. I don't know if you heard about the fire in the very old forest in Iran. The government basically did nothing to put out the fire, and people getting volunteer from every corner of Iran to just go and try to save the forest. So even our nature is not safe because of the Islamic regime.
No, maybe it is about the, let's say, global battle between sovereign people and patriots and globalists. Would you agree?
Yeah. I think it's the same that in Iran they call, like even here in, I have seen that, for example, Finnish politician with foreign background calling Iranians fascist, calling Iranians, extremist, and I'm like, okay, I was censored by my government. I was not able to talk. I come here, I say anything basically, and then they call me, take the screenshot of what I said. Oh, you're an extremist. I'm like, how can I be extremist? Like, did I threat anyone that, I'm gonna kill this person, or I've never used violent language. There hasn't ever been in any of our demonstration, any fight or anything. You can ask the police.
Iranin islamilainen hallinto on olennainen osa tätä globalistista peliä, ja Shabnam näkee jo toivoa pelin lopusta.
I'm just so tired of this stupid nonsense war that Islamic regime has started with Israel, with the United States, with pretty much every country in the world. Like, I want that stops. I want the peaceful, or we want, actually, it's not just me, of course, peaceful relation between Iran and Western countries. No more funding for terrorist organizations like Hamas, Hezbollah. All the money should be just funneled to rebuilding in Iran, and we have so much work to do to save our nature as well, and that is so important for Iranians, so important. We have lost rivers, we have lost lakes, and I want to see those rivers flowing in Iran again. I want to see our nature is also reviving, and I'm so happy our Shah has started already planning about reviving the economy, about the nature, human rights, women's rights, and everything. Of course, there's so much work to do, but I know that we can really do that, and have an ordinary, normal life after 47 years.
Yeah, I hope so too. I actually very much hope so that I could visit Iran as a tourist later. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.